Welcome to another episode of the CobraCast with I'm Rifty the Prez Logan and my co-host Dog. And joining us today is the one and only Sandown sweetheart, face of the Sandown Cobras, the Bear Trap, Matthew Jolley. Welcome.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, guys.
We do appreciate you taking time out of your busy media schedule and for joining us.
I figured that I'd give a little bit back to the club.
You've taken enough, so it's only fair, I guess. But yeah, let's get into it. We've got a few questions for you. We know how it goes from now. So,
Shoot.
So how long you been playing football for, mate?
I've been playing football for 24 years. I started off in under 10s, so quite a while. I took a couple of years off playing gridiron for about 4 to 5 years with yourself there, Rifty, so you know how good I was at that as well.
Oh, yeah, you weren't too bad, I guess. And so 24 years playing footy, under 10s, you all the way up to under 18s, you played footy?
Yeah, absolutely, yep. So I started off playing for the Fountain Gate Gators. And then under 16s, I played for the Hampton Park Redbacks. All through my junior career.
Yeah, and then so when did you come over to Sandown? What year and sort of what age were you?
Would have been about 2007. I think I was about 22 at the time. Or 23 could have been, yeah. So
2009, but you know. It was 09, but either way.
Look at him trying to add a couple of years to his career.
Well, I don't know. My stats look like I've played a lot longer than what I have, considering how much I've accomplished over my time. So if you want to make it shorter, then, you know, that just makes me look even better.
Okay, nice. So you've been at the club the same amount of time as myself. We both started, I think, the same week, in fact.
I think so, yeah.
So who brought you down to Sandown?
That would be James the Jew Raven. I played footy with him at Hampton Park since under 16s. He gave me a call up one day, I think it was the day before the game, and was like, "Oh, do you want to come fill out for our thirds team?" And I was like, "Thirds? I've never heard of thirds before." But yeah, I'll give it a crack. And I came down, and that's when I ran into you, Rifty. I was a bit surprised to see you there. I think I rocked up to their Dandy Dragons, Southern Dragons ground, yeah. And I saw you. You came over, introduced yourself, which I already knew who you were, so I don't know why you did that. And then I asked what team you were on because I was really looking forward to kicking the suitcase out of you.
Right.
Turns out you were a teammate. So
unfortunately, you haven't had that chance.
Fortunately for you. But we did go head-to-head as captains one year. You were the captain of the 4s. I was captain of the 3s.
Yes.
I believe we won that game. So I do have that one up on you.
Well, you know, it is what happens when you get the pick of the litter, I guess. So, yeah, you were obviously came to the club just, you know, brought down by a mate. You've ended up there for, going on 11 years, life member now. Like you said, you've been a captain of the thirds, possibly longest serving captain.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Look, that doesn't need to be fact-checked, but I believe that probably the most successful captain, or most inspiring at least. No offence to Matt Dixon. But
I'd probably say captain of the thirds, considering the thirds had about 5 years and you captain the final.
Well, yeah, all right. We'll go with the best captain of the thirds then. We'll settle on that.
There we go. All right.
I would argue captain of the whole club, but hey, just, you know.
Look, this is why people call me Captain Cobra, among other nicknames that I've had over the years.
And how many have you given to yourself?
Look, No, I can't keep track of where nicknames originate from at Dog. All I know is that I exemplify many of the personas that have been bestowed upon myself, whether it be from me or other people.
All right, and one of those nicknames you tried to get to stick, but unfortunately it hasn't, is
You
Grippo.
stole my joke. Yep, good one.
Why were you so passionate about getting that one to stick?
Look, if you've ever seen these buckets in the forward line, you know why people would call me Grippo. Then again, it's probably why it didn't stick. So.
Oh, all right. I think I've answered my own question.
Yeah, good.
So you've been there a while. What's been the highlight of your career at Sandown? What's that real standout moment for you?
At Sandown?
Playing for Sandown.
There's been so many. Playing down at the Snake Pit. I think for me, playing as a fullback in my first season, considering that we played finals that year, I ended up getting the runner-up BNF that year, which was a massive accomplishment because I had a couple of years off football that before coming back because I was playing gridiron with yourself. So that was a massive highlight. Running out as the thirds captain on grand final day. Unfortunately, we didn't win that day, but that's something that I'll always cherish. The day that I got my 150 games, that was huge. That was the only game I think we won that year against Dandenong. I also did my knee as well in the last quarter. So, but we managed to sneak away with a win, I think, by about 7 points. But the biggest standout for me would have been the day that I was able to run out with 22 of my best mates after my father had passed away, and wear a black armband and dedicate that game to him. Footy was a big part of our lives, so it was really special to spend that time, especially with my closest mates.
Yeah, no, there's some great moments there, and I think it's pretty evident that when you've played at a club for so long, there's a lot of great moments to be shared with teammates and mates, and some of those things that you sort of take for granted at the time, when you do look back on it, you're like, it is pretty special to be able to do those things with blokes that a few years earlier you barely even knew, and they become your best mates by playing football together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that day, your 150th led into a big night that night. I think it was a trivia night or something we had that night.
It was a trivia night, yeah.
Quite a big one.
Yeah.
But what would be the favourite off-field function or?
I don't know, Rifty, there's been so many at Sandown. We do like to get up to good fun. Given the fact that we have so many like bucks parties, weddings, birthdays, footy trips is always a highlight. So probably the most recent one that I can actually recall would be our last one, where we went on a 2-day cruise from Sydney to Melbourne, where it was great fun. I think one of the boys, yourself there, Rifty, had their nice dress shoes ruined, and you weren't able to attend dinner that night because someone had.
Yeah, I had to borrow some shoes to make it. Yeah.
Yes.
Otherwise, look, calling Air Max's dress shoes is pretty extreme, but I agree with it. So, and we've discussed about not bringing that up on this.
They were for my formal wear, and we were trying to go to fine dining, and they weren't going to let me in my thongs.
Yeah, and, well, especially if you were going to be wearing the shoes that had been destroyed, you would have been squeaking into the restaurant that night.
They would have smelt a little too. So,
and the thing is, it was still a bit more hygienic than what's been going on cruise ships in the last 3 months.
Lovely, I'll give you that. Well, but that's really nice of the person to disinfect Rifty's shoes.
Yes, they were clean.
Night.
Yeah, so, they were cleaned up. So
sterile, we'll say.
Yes. So you were you've organised so many great nights yourself and footy trips. Is that something you enjoy doing? And, is that the highlight of your year, going on a footy trip? Or
look, I don't mind it. I think, it's important that things are organised right, and I probably don't trust anyone else other than myself. Dicko's done a really great job over the last few years, but I think I've just been able to drive that price just that little bit further down for everyone, and just try and do some things a little bit different. I wasn't going to go last year, but since it was a cruise, I thought may as well.
You did also implement a thing called peasant fees, which for a few people may not know, actually helped me get on footy trip this year, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. So peasant fees was a big thing that I'd invented for this year's footy trip, and it consisted of, I guess, monthly instalments that people needed to put towards their footy trip. And if they failed to pay by a certain date, then they would be deducted a peasant fee, which they'd have to pay a little bit extra. And that really helped top up our fine tin as well. So very successful initiative.
So it's safe to say that, even with isolation, you've always brought your work home with you. So it hasn't made much difference to you implementing, late fees or peasant fees, as you would call it.
Yeah.
You've enjoyed bringing your work home with you.
Yeah, I can do that. Absolutely. But at the end of the day, like if you're going to organise it, you're going to rely on blokes to make sure they do stuff on time, and they don't, then they should pay a fee for it.
Yeah.
And it helped everyone else out who did do the right thing. So
and it was
I will keep doing that. But I don't think... It was
a great trip.
I'm glad it was a great trip. I don't know whether or not I'll get much interest on going on a cruise this year.
No, I think cruises are,
Probably get some cheap rates though for them.
Yeah, it'd be a real cheap footy trip, I reckon.
Yeah, we might not get back on land. We might be stuck out there for a while. All right, moving on. So, obviously, again, you've played 11 years at Sandown. You've played alongside many great teammates. But who's the standout? Who's the best player you've played alongside or seen at the club?
Best player talent-wise would... I don't know. Look, for me, it's always been Jesse Mack. He's always just been the hardest ball getter at it. Like, I think there was a few years there where the club was quite successful, and, unfortunately I was overlooked to play in the senior team. So I probably haven't played with as much people as what other people have. But certainly in my time and the players that I've run out alongside with, Jesse Mack would be my number one.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pretty common answer among our guests. So.
You have any pre-game superstitions, mate?
Pre-game superstitions? Look, I don't really have too many now. I used to relace my boots before every game a long time ago. I don't really do that anymore. Probably, just the obvious ones where I might just have pasta the night before a game would be about as far as I go now.
Shoelaces one's a bit different.
That was a long time ago, yeah. But for some reason, I just relaced my boots because, I don't know, they'd just be tighter that way as well.
So like give them a clean and relace on a Friday night?
Not so much clean. I would just I'd take my laces out, and then on the Saturday morning I would relace my boots while they're on my feet. But as you boys know, sometimes I rock up a little bit late to games, and that's probably where that tradition had stopped.
Fair enough.
Yeah, more than likely, mate. Funniest thing that happened to you during a game?
For me personally, I don't know. Like I've seen a lot of games, but probably the one that sticks out the most would be I was playing one game where I was playing at full back, and someone had a shot at goal, and the ball's ricocheted off the off the goalpost and hit the goal umpire square in the face and hit him right in the nose, and he started bleeding out of his nose. And the goal umpires then signalled for the blood rule, so he's just stuck his arms up like that. And the field umpire was trying to get the game keep going. He's trying to tell the goal umpire to flash his flag for a behind so that I was able to kick out, but he was too worried about his blood nose at the time. So that was pretty funny.
I can't blame him to be a little bit worried. Speaking of goals and goal umpires, what player loves to celebrate a goal the most?
Oh, God. Loves to play. Oh, look, there's a few. Yourself there, Dog, you definitely love the get around me kind
Absolutely.
of fist pump.
Full mate. I'm the one that does everything down there.
You do kick a fair few, so I'll give you that. For me, I don't tend to kick that many goals. So when I do, I tend to try and make it as about me as possible. So certainly there's been a few where I've put one through and then I've just turned to the crowd and just given the big number 70 on the back to just letting them know who slotted that one.
There was a game, I'm pretty sure you kicked, what was it, 1 goal 5, I recall? 1 goal 6 maybe?
I don't recall that. What game was that one, mate?
Against Doveton a couple of years back.
I think you got your behinds and your goals around the wrong way there, mate.
Yeah, whatever you say, buddy. Which teammate at the moment, mate, do you reckon would be loving isolation, and which one would be hating it with a passion?
Oh, that's a good question. Who'd be loving isolation? I don't know. Joshy would probably be loving isolation at the moment, given the fact that there won't be that many blokes there to make fun of all the stupid stuff that he does.
You'd think that, but we've still managed to do that over this.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, I don't know. Who would be hating isolation right now? Look, I don't know. I can tell you right now, I'm hating isolation right now. It has been a struggle, but I have been getting very good at cooking and domestic duties and certainly learning new skills during this isolation period.
It's not a bad thing to be doing during this period. Which teammate do you think would make the best reality TV and why?
Other than myself, Chipper is such a loose unit that I would tune in every night just to see what mayhem that guy has caused. So
the only problem is that it'd have to be a very late time slot for Chipper's antics.
It would definitely be a late time slot. Would still be very interesting viewing, though, I think.
I feel like a few complaints would probably come against the TV station airing that type of content.
Certainly the advisory board would get a lot of business.
Yep, for sure. So, AFL team, who do you go for?
I'm a Saints supporter. Actually, a lot of people don't know this about me, but in my early years, I was a Brisbane Bears supporter.
What? Any reason why you made the switch, or?
No, not really. Like I changed to the Saints probably after. Actually, I changed to the Saints before the Brisbane Bears merged with Fitzroy. So I don't know. I just
any
the colours.
Any reason you chose the Bears in the first place? Being that you're from Melbourne.
I don't know. Maybe I've just got an affinity with Bears. Me being the Bear Trap and the Bears are maybe related. Who knows?
It was meant to be. Who would know that the little boy that grew up following the Bears would become the Bear Trap that he is today? All right,
it was in the stars. It was in the stars.
For sure. And so, who's the favourite player of all time, AFL?
It's a big toss-up. It's a three-way between Nick Riewoldt, Robert Harvey, and Tony Plugger Lockett. Like, it's huge. But I probably appreciated football the most during Nick Riewoldt's reign, and he would be my number one.
So no Brisbane Bear players snuck into your top three?
Unfortunately not, no. So, no,
do you remember any?
Big fan of the old Nick Riewoldt. So,
he was.
Just want to go back to your Bears thing for a minute, Jolley. Which Bears do you reckon fell harder, the Brisbane Bears or the Bear Trap on pre-season footy camp?
No comment, mate.
Not very often do someone get you speechless.
No, that's true, mate. So,
all right.
So, in my life, I'd rather look past. Yep.
You mentioned that you played gridiron. Have you played any other sports besides gridiron and football?
I did a bit of amateur boxing. I took that up as, I guess, probably something in off-season during football. I was never into cricket, only because I'm a little bit of a burner, so I don't like the sun. And so I remember I was reading an article and it said, the two fittest athletes on the planet is either a ballerina or a boxer. And I thought, I don't know how I'd go in leotard, so I decided to take up boxing.
When you couldn't find a leotard that fit, you took up boxing.
I don't know. I've squeezed into some pretty tight compression wear before.
Southern Dragons rings a bell for one of them.
It certainly would, mate. Yeah.
All right. So, who would be the all-time great sporting hero across all codes?
Across
all sports.
Across all sports. Look, for me, outside of football, like, I'm a big fan of Danny Green. I followed his career quite closely, but I only followed his career because I was such a fan of Costa Zoo. So I remember going to one of his fights, and Danny Green was an undercard in Costa Zoo's match against Jesse James Lahar, and I followed him from there because that's when Costa had finished. But if I'm really going back, Costa Zoo would be my favourite athlete.
Nice. And so what would be the sporting event you'd love to go to? What's that pinnacle?
Super Bowl would just be insane. So, yeah. Super Bowl for me would be the absolute pinnacle to be able to watch. My beloved Dolphins win one would be amazing.
Yeah.
Still the only perfect team, so you say what you want now.
You'll have plenty of time to save up for that trip, I guess. It could be a while before they're there.
We'll just see what happens this draft, mate. So
you say that every draft.
Yeah, true.
All right, so if you, I got a little scenario for you. If it was 3/4 time and the team needs a lift, and you've lost your voice because you've already been giving the boys a rev up yourself. So unfortunately, you can't deliver the motivation they need.
Yeah.
Who would you call upon? And it could be a real coach you've had, a coach of an AFL or any other code, or it could be fictional, a movie coach or whatever. Who would you call upon?
Al Pacino from Any Given Sunday. So, he would obviously give a good 3/4 time speech. And that, another fictional one with Denzel Washington from Remember the Titans, one of my favourite movies. So he could give quite the good rev up. But really, I think it would just come back to me once that 3/4 time siren would go. I've lost my voice, so I think people would just pull the inspiration off when I take that big QB keep out of the centre bounce 3rd quarter and launch it down to Dog at full forward. So that's where it'd be at.
Fair enough.
Speaking of, mentioned a few movies in that last question. If a movie based on your life, who would you want to play you?
Who would I want to play me?
And you can't say yourself.
Yeah. Look, I've had a few doppelgangers over the years. I think Dave Hughes has been one. Jack Black has been a very popular one. More recently, Chris Pratt, which I'm pretty proud about. Unfortunately, that was more referenced around Parks and Recreation than what he's doing now, but I'll still take it. So I'll go with Chris Pratt.
Lovely answer. Now, I think we all know the answer to the next question, but do you have any guilty pleasure TV show or movie?
I just like shows in general. Like a good doco is usually what I would go for.
I think you're lying, mate, so tell the viewers the honest truth. Thank you.
All right, I'm a bit of a reality TV buff, so big fan of Maths, The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love Island.
You've been known to
give me any of those.
You've been known to tell coaches it's time to get off the track because you need to get home to watch the shows.
Yeah. Oh, what are they thinking? Right?
Most blokes just want to get off the track for a beer, not you, mate.
No, mate. I'm going to get home, watch maps, see what's going on. So I tell you what, did you boys watch it this year? Insane.
No.
I've never watched a single episode, I can safe to say.
You don't know what you're missing.
My knowledge of maths comes from you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Speaking of guilty pleasures, do you have any guilty pleasure like music genres or a certain band or a certain song even that gets you going that you don't want anybody to know about?
That we're now going to tell everybody.
It's just this is a private conversation.
I don't want anyone to know, so do you want me to?
Yeah, because it's a private conversation. Rifty's stopped recording. This is just us talking.
Oh, thanks, guys. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, but seriously, no, not really. Like for me, like I don't know, I'm a big rock fan. Definitely, now I really enjoy indie rock. But one of my favourite bands would be The Offspring. Unfortunately, I had tickets. I would have been going this week to see them, was when it was scheduled. Unfortunately, due to the coronavirus, I received an update to say it's been rescheduled next year, which is fair enough. So, but I'm really looking forward to going to that.
I'm sure waiting another 12 months will make you just more keen to go see.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do you have any secret talents that you'd like to share with us that we may not know about?
Oh, secret talents. That's a tough one. Look, I can do the phonetic alphabet in under 6 seconds, and I don't think any of you boys know that.
We've got 6 seconds, mate, so give us a crack.
All right, you ready? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, Golf, Alien, Juliet, Kilo, November, Puppy, Back, Remy, Sarah, Tango, Uniform, 50, Whiskey, Yankee, Zulu.
Oh, jeez. I wasn't quite counting, but either way, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah. I used to be in the cadets and in the Army cadets, and I used to be in the signals, which was the radio, and to use all like call signs and stuff like that. So I knew the phonetic alphabet quite well.
So does it come in handy to impress the ladies or anything like that?
Oh, I think so. I think the right lady will come along and be quite impressed with my knowledge of the phonetic alphabet. Certainly helps when you call up a call center or something and you're trying to spell, just drop the phonetic alphabet. So it's a life skill.
You could have said to us you can do it in under 15 seconds and I still would have been impressed.
6 seconds is my record.
What's the first thing you'll be doing once self-isolation is finished, mate?
Oh, mate.
You no longer need to be self-distancing from anybody.
Oh, I'll be hitting up you boys. We're going out somewhere. We're definitely going to be a few drinks and a kick of the footy. It's absolutely what I'm hanging for right now.
It seems to be a common answer that we've spoken to a few boys about.
Oh, really? Well, in that case,
we haven't interviewed him yet. It's just what we've spoken about the blokes.
Oh, you're just anticipating it. Right, fair enough.
Oh, no, we've just spoken to blokes before we started recording this stuff.
Right.
So, obviously, can't have a kick of the footy and can't have a beer with the mates. What are 3 things that you currently have during isolation that you'd be absolutely lost without?
Ricky Logan's Netflix account. a solid internet connection, and my hand lotion, because we all know how well I like to keep my hands soft.
Definitely. It's something you always like to mention to people, how soft your hands are.
I've got hands of a surgeon.
Yes.
You boys know that.
And that's why you won't change your own light bulb.
Correct. It's peasants' work.
All right. So now that you've mentioned that you've got access to my Netflix account.
Yeah.
And so have you watched Tiger King on there?
I have. I thoroughly enjoyed Tiger King, yeah.
All right. So the hardest hitting question of the day is, did Carol Baskin kill her husband?
Oh, easily. Hands down. Fed him to the tigers.
Yep. No ifs, no doubts about it.
No doubt. No doubt. Guilty. Let Joe Exotic out. He should be a free man. Free Joe Exotic. Where's Bob Dylan doing a song about freeing Joe Exotic? Did one for the Hurricane. Why not Joe Exotic?
I don't know if Bob Dylan's the right sound for Joe Exotic.
Well, all right.
Maybe there's some
Nicole Kidman's husband.
Oh, yeah.
Keith Urban. That's probably more down, right down his alley.
Keith Urban out.
We'll just get Joe Exotic's ghost singer to sing a song for him.
Yeah. Either or.
Well, thank you for your time. We appreciate
it, fellas. Yeah. Well, the pleasure's all yours.
Sure.
Always is.
Always is.
Yep.
But yes. And thank you for watching. This has been another episode of the CobraCast with the Prez and Vp. Thanks to our guest Matt Jolley, the Bear Trap, Sandown Sweetheart, Grippo,
Captain
Cobra, longer serving Plugger, and
the Rock of Joel Brolter.
Any others you want to make up for us right
I'm
now?
not making these up, mate. These are my nicknames.
That you've given yourself.
No, they've been bestowed upon me.
Thanks again for joining us. And just remember that nothing's better than playing at home.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Joel.
Thanks for watching the CobraCast with the Prez and Vp. And if you need somebody to talk to, why not contact New Life Psychology in Berwick? They are now taking phone appointments. Or you could head to otlr.com.au for tips and info. And we are supporters of the Towards Zero's TAC campaign. Head to towardszero.vic.gov.au for information, because 0 is the only acceptable number.